Hello folks, and welcome to the channel, or welcome back. And in the previous video we actually placed steel panels onto those sliding doors, but there was one gate I still had to do in the back, so let me show you. When I removed the old paneling of this gate, the frame was totally rotten. It was totally gone. So what we're going to do now in this video is to build a new frame for this door, and then we'll put the metal paneling up. So the height is 2 meters 35 and the width is 2.5 meters. 2 meters 35 is the height and 2.5 meters wide. So I'm going to make two wings that will swing open. One wing of 1 meter 25 and a second wing of 1 meter 25, because the sheet metal is 1 meter 21. So if I put a sheet panel up on both sides of 1 meter 21, I'm going to be short of 9 centimeters or 8 centimeters, but that's just perfect because that's enough for my overlap. This morning I picked up some Douglas beams here, or wooden planks, as you can see. And those are the ones we're going to use. They are like 15 centimeters by 6. When I picked up the beams at the wood shop this morning, I double checked for straightness. One of them was a little bit wavy. Not a big deal because I can use it for smaller pieces. The first thing I'm going to do right now is to cut the vertical planks to length. And therefore I'm going to take the top off first, and then will cut off the far end side to the exact length, which is 2 meters 35. When I picked up the wood this morning, it had been sitting in the rain for a while, so I'm just double checking the humidity, and as you can see we got like 18.2% in the middle of that, so that's not too bad. But on the outside you can actually see it, how deep the water went in, because we have kind of an edge around it. But that's okay, it will dry up, although I do not like to work with wet wood, but this is just wet from the rain. So with one side of the beam already cut straight, now I'm going to cut the full length at 2 meters 35. And that's going to be one of the vertical planks of the first wing. So I will need 2 of these. This is the first vertical pillar for one wing. I need 2 of those. Now to assemble the door frame, I'm going to use these metal bars. These are like big spanners, 2 meters long. So I'm going to pre-position all the beams on it and then put pressure up, and then I can drill the holes, and you'll see that in a few minutes why I'm going to drill the holes. So I'm just going now to lay it out a bit so it's square as much as I can. Of course that's not the final layout because I still have to create the horizontal beams, or the horizontal planks that will connect the 2 vertical ones. So now I'm going to space the vertical beams to 1 meter 25, and I'm just going to turn on my vise here so that everything moves up to 1 meter 25. And I'm going to do it on both sides, the top and on the bottom, of course. I'm just showing you one side. Now this allows me to measure the distance between the 2 vertical beams at the inside. So I know exactly how much that is, and I'm going to check it on both sides, on the top and on the bottom, and then I can cut those. Now I'm going to create 3 of them, one on the top, one in the middle, and one on the bottom. Now just marking off where the center is for the middle beam. So I've cut the horizontal beams for the top, the bottom, and the middle part to the right length as we measured before, and now I'm just trying to get them in place. Now if you had another person with you, that would be easier to level them out, because I need to level them so they match up with the side beams, but also I have to squeeze them on the spanners at the same time so they will stay in place. And yeah, I should have put some wooden blocks underneath, because the side beams are on these metal bars and the horizontal ones are not. So you can see how I'm just messing around. So don't think everything is always perfect with me. Anyway, I put some spacers underneath, and then I was able to put it all together and squeeze it together. So with that temporarily in place, I just want to make sure that everything is square, because after all, if it's not square, I might have a problem putting it up. So both sides are checked and that looked okay. And then we do a little bit of final leveling of the two beams, so the horizontal and the vertical one, so they line up real nice. Now it's always good to double check that everything is 100% square, and an easy way to do this is to measure diagonal across the gate, so top left to right bottom and then top right to left bottom, and the distance should be exactly the same. And what I got here was 166, which was exactly what I needed to get. Our frame is now solidly locked into place. So now I need to connect those two pieces, and I have no cutouts, I have no tongue and groove, I have nothing really half and half. There's no joint there. It's just flat to each other. But I'm going to use these very, very long screws that I will bolt through this outer part and then into the other part. In between the two, I will put some glue up. Now I'm going to use two of those long screws or bolts, whatever you want to call them. These are 8-packs. They are really, really good. I used them before on another door and they last a very long time. As I have to put the bolt through the outer beam, I will need to drill a hole, and this is the bit I'm going to use to drill that hole. It is the same size of the bolt or the screw as you have seen, and it's pulling itself into the wood. I already have drilled one hole, so this is now the second hole. And I'm going to do this on all 4 corners and in the middle. That long screw should be no obstruction on the side of the door or the gate, because that's the side that's going to sit against the wall or a wooden frame. So the head of the screw should not be sticking out. And that's why I'm using my apple to make the holes a little bit bigger in the beginning so we can sink in the head. We've done the top part, we've done the lower part, and this is the middle part that goes in. It's a little bit of hammering. I don't have a spanner in this area, but that's okay. And as you can see, this is a real smug fit. Now we go in to glue everything together, so all the surfaces will be glued. But before doing so, I will mark every piece of wood where it is, so I don't have to measure everything out again, because I will have to disassemble everything to glue. So here you go, marking all the pieces of wood so we can easily fit it back together. So now it's time to disassemble everything and get it all glued up. Flip over the planks and then start to apply the glue. And I like to apply the glue with a piece of wood. You could do a bit of brush as well. But as you can see, I like to put quite a bit of it onto the wood, and you probably notice the holes as well. Now everything is kind of glued, and now it's time to assemble it. And of course I made this a bit faster in the video because I didn't want to keep you busy too long with watching me trying to get everything lined up. Now the way I lined this up is based on the lines I drew on the wood before. So there's a line, or at least 2 lines on every joint, so I know exactly where to align it. And if I would have been with 2 people, it would have been easier, because now I have to go around, put some pressure on, not too much pressure, because otherwise I can't move the beams anymore. So it was a little bit of fiddling. Let's say it took me about maybe 4 minutes or so to get this done, no more than that. With the holes pre-drilled and all aligned, it's a piece of cake to put those screws in.
All right.
And as you can see, they are fairly flush.
And of course, you can ask yourself the question, is this proper woodworking? And it probably isn't. But I know one thing, this is very strong. Besides being very quick.
So with all the corners connected and the middle part connected, now it's time to do some additional work. Now the hinges are on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side we have the middle of the door. So over time, that door being heavy, it will actually sag down. So I want to prevent that sagging down, and therefore I'm going to put a diagonal connection in there out of a piece of wood, so that will avoid or prevent the door sagging to a large extent. I will also use these square angles in metal, and they are fairly thick. I will place those in the remaining corners to strengthen the door overall. and I'm going to bolt them down with the same FHA PAX screws. They are really good stuff to work with wood constructions. Of course, this is not a kitchen door or this is not a front door of a house, but for a barn, this is pretty good stuff to use.
Now, obviously, I'm not going to put in a big beam like this. I mean, that would be a little bit of an overkill, wouldn't it? I'm going to cut it in two.
I now have two pieces and I already have marked where I need to cut them so they will fit properly into the corner. I've done it on both sides, both on the upper support and on the lower support. And now it's just a matter of cutting it to the right size and then fit it. Now with both corners being cut to a 45-degree angle, I can now fit it in, and this is the top part, and as you can see it's fitting nice and flush. It has to be flush because otherwise it's not going to help very much. I just need to knock it in a little bit here, as you can see, and now it's a matter of screwing them back down onto the frame so they cannot drop out.
Again, we're going to drill a hole like this, and then we're going to fit through that along H-PAX screw again. All right, so that is locked in place.
And for the other corners, we are just putting the metal bracket in place, again with the same type of screws.
And now it's time for the hinges. I already had them marked, and the hinges have to be sunk into the wood because the metal panel that comes on top of it needs to rest on the wood. It cannot rest on this piece because it would be sticking up way too high. So we'll have to either chisel this out or we can use a router for that.
Well, this is just a little bit of chiseling, and I guess you all know how to do that. A router is a bit faster, and you'll see that in a few seconds, because I will use both.
So here's our cutout, and now I can put the actual hinge up. Now, I might change this later to bolts all the way through. I don't know yet. We'll see how strong this is. Oh, that will be okay. So the next one we're going to do with a router. I already have adjusted the height for it, so I know it's going to go about this deep down, which is about a little bit more than 3 millimeters, so that should be good. And all we need to do now is get it plugged in and then start cutting. All right, so that's the same depth. So that's looking good. It's good. So one more and then we are done. That's all right. The frame is now built, and in essence, we could now put it up. But I'm going to let it dry overnight, and then we will put the metal sheets up and the locks. But you'll see that in the next video, because I still have to make a second one. Thank you for watching so far, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.